Hey everybody, welcome once again to a Low on Health year-end review. This year-end review set coming basically in the middle of the next year. But this is going to be covering the movies that we watched in 2021, which as always was a decent amount of movies. Zero of them in theaters because it's still the pandemic.
Because it's still COVID.
And there's still really no good reason to go see a movie in a theater in general, which is we've been saying for a very long time. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to the movies that we watched in 2021. Boop. Okay, so the total movies we watched in 2021 was 63, which is a little bit high, but our average is usually 40, 50, 60 is usually where we're at.
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah.
Because we know I'm famous for being able to easily remember numbers.
And when it comes down to 60 movies in a year, it's hard to remember what you watched. But we keep track of all this stuff, and then this time around we did rate them, in which case number one, the Mitchells versus the Machines.
Well, this is your top 10.
It's my top 10, but
which is fine.
You enjoyed some of these also.
Yeah.
But this really did have that feel of like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. It had that type of art style to it.
It was cute. Yeah, it was CG and had lots of 2D elements drawn over top.
But I really much enjoyed it. Then we have What We Do in the Shadows, which we had heard about this here and there. The contemporary vampire parody. This was the movie, which we then subsequently watched the TV show. Which we'll get into the TV shows. Next one for me was the Thunderbolt kind of movie, Bandit Flower, which I really liked. I really got into a bunch of Gundam stuff this year, which I will get into at another time, another video talking all about Gundam. We then have the Snyder Cut for the Justice League, in which case we were pleasantly surprised. Yes, it is long. Yes, it is.
It was good.
In 4:3 format, but no, it's very, very good. Like, I'm really happy that they took the time to spread that out, extend the story. The next we got is The French Dispatch, which is a classic Wes Anderson film that was pushed back and then finally came out. It's just quintessential Wes Anderson art style, direction, and I still enjoyed it. Next we got Space Sweepers, which is kind of like a...
That was the Chinese film, right? Or it had a whole bunch of hands in that pot, didn't it?
Yeah, but it was just really good. Like a good classic, almost like early, like mid-90s, like sci-fi, like just story.
It was Losers in Space, which is always a fun story.
And it's really cool because that type of stuff is on Netflix. I believe Space Sweepers was on Netflix, so like it makes it a lot more accessible to everybody. The next one is Wolfwalkers, which is
really good.
A nice classic animation 2D.
It had a very unique art style though too.
Oh yeah.
It's very pretty.
And just really, really good. Which was that? Who did that? DreamWorks, or I don't recall.
I don't
honestly
remember.
Recall. But no, it's a good animated movie. We definitely recommend it.
Is it a French film?
No. We don't. Once again,
I don't know.
We would barely recall when we watched it. And
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking forever ago. And yes, I could have done research beforehand, but we don't. Next one is Upgrade, which is a very kind of low budget sci-fi film.
Yeah, but it was cool.
But it like the production on it is very cool. Like what they do with the cinematography and the cameras and everything, and just overall premise is actually really, really cool. And I want to recommend Upgrade. Next is Shin Godzilla. Well, once again, with a lot of these movies, we watch them whatever year we watch them, we talk about them in that year. So I think Shin Godzilla is maybe from like 2016 or earlier. I don't know. But it was just a classic Godzilla film, in which case you see Godzilla not that much, which is fine. It's more about the people and logistics of dealing with it.
But it was also like all of the Godzilla's evolution like into Godzilla during the course of the movie. Yeah, and that was really gross and cool.
With this particular Godzilla, seeing it evolve and seeing how it adapts is just really, really cool, and I really much enjoyed that. And that's kind of like where it kind of sets itself apart more from the other Godzilla films. But no, just really highly recommend it if you're into any Godzilla films or haven't even ever watched a Godzilla film. Have you ever watched any of the non-American Godzilla films?
Prior to this, probably one or two. I don't know. I don't remember though.
But this one at least stood out a little bit. So that's kind of our top 10-ish. And then what I'm going to go through is just slowly scroll down through all the movies that we watched, and we'll just kind of pick ones out that we happen to notice. The top here is, of course, just those top ones that I just mentioned earlier. And I'm trying to think. We watched a lot of like low budget stuff. Oh yeah, the Monster Hunter. Right? That's one of the ones I gave up on. Starting the trend of us giving up on stuff.
Willy's Wonderland was actually really funny.
Really good.
Nicolas Cage was in it, right? And he didn't say a single thing the entire time. I found that very entertaining.
One of those really low budget, get an action star in film.
Yeah, but it was really funny.
We'll talk about probably again a couple times. for some reason I wanted to watch Ernest Goes to Jail, because that's just a stupid classic.
Really old movie.
What else we got here? Cosmic Sin, that's another one I wanted to bring up. So we've definitely come across these, and everybody has probably seen them more or less. I forgot, Red Letter Media refers to them as geezer teasers, where it's basically you just see one big name actor on the thumbnail or on the box art.
You're like, oh, this must be good.
And they're there for just like a day or two recording some lines, and the rest of the movie is just other stuff. So Cosmic Sin, I was jazzed about. I think it was also on Netflix. But then once I quickly realized it was like basically just a script AI, like a movie written by an algorithm. With just all the just the tropes and stupid lines. You're like, you know exactly what's going to happen. But then they have the big name person in there just with really Red Letter Media, which is a YouTube channel. They've actually gone into depth on this type of stuff, and they've actually broken down scenes and movies, and it was actually really enlightening knowing that this is where all those movies that we've all seen in Redbox and on every streaming service, where it's just like, oh, that's a new Bruce Willis movie. No, it's not a new Bruce Willis movie. It's a new movie starring Bruce Willis in it, just a little bit. And like even with Willy's Wonderland, it's kind of the same thing where like
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's like.
But it was really But it was really funny because he never said anything, and I just found that very.
It was a very interesting.
It was a decent movie, that one. Cosmic Sin, it's not even B-movie Drek. Like, we've all seen B-movie Drek. It doesn't even qualify. It's literally a student film would be better than that.
And then actually Godzilla vs. Kong, that seems like it was actually older ago, but this is when we get.
There was some interesting, fun visual things that happened in Godzilla vs. Kong, but that was about it.
There was also the newer Mortal Kombat. Once again, I don't want to go down each and every one, but the newer
Mortal
Kombat
was kind of funny.
We do highly want to recommend the second Academia movie because the final end of it is just fantastic.
Yeah, it was really
one of the
great.
best like anime action sequences ever.
It was very cool.
So we very much enjoyed that. Cruella, we actually were pleasantly surprised with, which is what I wrote there. What else we got here? Space Jam, Don't Care, another anime movie. But once again, this is just all the different movies we watch. You can stop them or watch them. I'm trying to think out. I think we can just throw out a lot of anime stuff because there was they had like Cell World and then Demon Slayer movie, which I thought was very, very good. Which again, we don't mention Demon Slayer that much, but the animation quality on that is always just stupendous.
Yeah. The Witcher was good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think they've come out with anything Witcher that hasn't been good so far.
I mean, we'll get to it when we get to the TV.
Yeah. But just in general.
Evangelion movie, the Gundam movie trilogy. So
Free Guy was cute.
I did, because I was on a Gundam kick this year, I did go back and watch, not all of the original Gundam, but since they have the compilation movies, I watched all those and a bunch of other Gundam stuff. Like there's Hathaway's Flash.
I like that one.
What else we got here? A bunch of other stuff.
The Muppets Did a Haunted Mansion movie, which is basically if you want to see the Haunted Mansion as a musical featuring the Muppets, there you go, because that's what it is. It's the ride with the Muppets.
Yeah, and once again, it's
cute.
It's okay.
Oh, and Shang-Chi was actually really good.
Mm-hmm. Matrix was just as horrible as we thought it would be.
Venom was decent.
And then I think we ended the year with the Reno 911 movie, which is kind of funny because like we watched the Reno whatever season that was on Quibi, and it was just kind of fun to see them doing their thing. We kind of knew exactly what it's going to be, but you don't get that many just comedies nowadays, in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of just it for the movies. That's roughly 60 movies there that we watched, and the top ones being that.
I mean, considering the year before is, when COVID hit and everything, and then it's not super surprising that there weren't a ton of
a lot of movies got
super awesome things in 2021.
Well, some of them officially just got pushed back.
Yeah, and also not necessarily all the ones that we watched were filmed and produced in 2020 either, so.
Yeah. But,
those are the ones we watched.
That's going to be it for movies. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you next time.